For over 50 years, Kirby Morgan has revolutionized commercial diving. From masks to helmets and everything in between. Dive into history with us as we step into the Dive Locker. The first Bob Kirby mask. In the early 1950s, I was a Navy diver on the sub-tender USS Nereus in San Diego, but was restless. I started living a double life and was living on a fishing boat part of the time and on the Nereus the rest. I started diving commercially in my off-duty hours and hooked up with Lad Handelman in 1955. I was introduced to him by Jerry Todd in San Diego. Lad was diving abalone with a guy called Rex Rosenberry, and they were using wide-off masks. Now, these were not the fancy oblong wide-offs with the nice face seals that turned up later. No, these were the old circular ones which were always interesting to dive. The brass ones would sink, and the aluminum ones would float. Rex had terrible eyesight and could not wear glasses inside the wide-off. He and Lad let me dive one of their wide-offs, and like them, I got just a terrible pain from how tight the damn thing was. It was a gruesome experience. I had met a Navy shipyard welder called Henry Hansen who dove a bit with Chuck Snell part-time. Henry was pretty unique, and he was a black guy, and there were not many black divers around those days. Henry did not like the wide-offs at all, and made several of his own style from stainless steel. These were an absolute work of art. Marvelous. So I designed my mask after Henry's. Like him, I constructed mine of stainless steel and made a few changes by trial and error. This was my first mask and it worked just great. It got me started on making dive gear. It is now on display at the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum. This concludes this episode of the Diving into the Kirby Morgan Archives. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Dive Locker.